this is Alma. Welcome to my book journey. I am at getting ready to head into my local library. It is early in the morning, and I'm coming in here right when they open. And the reason is I have a special reading vlog for February that I'm really excited about. And so the library in the past couple years, every February, I've noticed that they do what's called, and I apologize for all the glare in my glasses for this morning. So every February, I've noticed that they've done a blind date with a book, where they wrap up books and then they tell you kind of what they are, and then you just check them out without knowing what they are. And then, so I thought that would be perfect to do for February, to go in, look through these books, try to find something that appeals to me, and then take them back home and then unwrap them with you all, and then read them during the month. And then just do a vlog on how I feel, if I like the books, if I hopefully I'll find some good ones, and I don't have to DNF anything. But I'm just waiting outside. They're getting ready to open here shortly. And I had to come out really quickly. I had to come out. Okay, sorry about that. I got cut off. All right, so I think I was saying the library's not open yet. I'm here I'm here right at opening because I have something special to do later today that I need to get to, and I wanted to come when I saw on the library's Instagram page that they had posted that they had these books out. I wanted to make sure I got here pretty early because I wanted to make sure I had a good choice to look through. And the last time I found out about it, after they had it for a while, and there wasn't too many books to choose from. So I'm hoping they have a big selection, because they just put them out yesterday, I believe. So hopefully there's a big selection for me, and that's why I'm coming in early on a Saturday to right when they open, to see what they have. And then plus I have some books that I need to return that I read in January that I need to drop off. And then of course I'm probably gonna look around a little bit and see if they have any new ones. I already have a nice large TBR, plus these that I'm going to be checking out. But I always like to look. You never know. I always love to see if they have any new releases, or maybe they'll have like a romance display for Valentine's month. You never know. My library is really good about changing their displays and everything, and recommending books. So, like I said, I'm just looking at the clock, waiting for the place to open, and hopefully they open the doors right at night so I can run in there and look around. All right, and so I'll be back in a little bit, or actually I'll take you in and I'll show you the books and everything. All right, here we go. Here's the blind date with the book. Let's see. This tree. that too. All right. Let's see which one I pick. Rivals. And also one here. This is what I want to read eventually. But I had too much going on this one. But now it's nice to know that it's here. That I can check it out. So this white they have is actually takes me up. So that's pretty cool. Sweet. I want to get this one. Yep, 87. Okay, I always check this. This is books that they're selling for 10 cents, and I just saw as they coming out that they have this one by Karen Whitmire. I love Karen Whitmire, so I've got to grab it. They must have put some new ones out here, so because I just looked at these the other day. So I've got a few minutes before I've got to go. Look at this one. I don't have that. I'm gonna grab that one too. You never know what you can find. Okay. Some of these have been here a while. I'm always tempted to get this one, but I know I won't read it. Okay. I don't think nothing else is popping out at me. I'll get this one from my mother-in-law. Okay, I think that's it. All right. Okay, I'm finally back. So I didn't get to record this yesterday because after I went to the library, I was gone all day. I didn't get back home until late in the evening. And then I was like, I'm not going to record any videos tonight. I'm tired. And so I haven't opened I don't know what these are yet. I don't know what they are. So I'm going to do this, and I've been, anxiously waiting. And then I did record in the car after I came out, but then I didn't have my volume on. So I was just talking, and there was no volume on my video, which was a bummer. But all I said, I think, was that one of the gals, when I was checking out my books, she's like, oh, you picked my choice, because all of these are from the librarians, their picks. Because I asked her, I was like, when I was checking out, I said, oh, I was so excited that you guys did this again. And she goes, oh, this is my baby. This is the one I do every year. And I'm like, I thanked her for it, because I was like, I love it. And then it was cool that I picked out her pick. So I thought that was kind of cool. But before I unveil or unwrap those books, I want to show you what I picked up at the library. I did show this, and this the cutest copy of this book. This is called Meet Me at Starlight by Rachel Hawk, and as I remember hearing about this book, and the reason I really wanted to read it was because of the time period is 1987. That's the year I graduated from high school. And so I thought, oh, I've been wanting to read this book ever since I heard about it. And I've never seen, usually I'll put the cover up here when I've seen it. And so I almost, when I saw it, this cover, I didn't think it was that book until I read the back, and it did say 1987. So I thought this was the cutest cover. So this is a large print book, so that's why it looks different. So I checked this one out. I was super jazzed about that, so I checked that one out. And then I picked up, as you saw in the spinning, the bookshelf at the exit, they have books that they sell for 10 cents. And so I did pick up Karen Whitmire's Head in the Clouds. And this one is one I've had on my, I think I even had it on my Pango cart for a while, or my TBR to be on the lookout for this book. And so I was like, I can't believe I'm getting this for 10 cents. So, and I love her books. I've read her fairy tale retelling in the Western theme. I read all 3 of those, and I really loved her writing, so I was excited about finding that one. And then I picked up one of the Little House on the Prairie books, and this is Little Town on the Prairie. I've read with Ellie the first one. Is it when they're in the big woods? We read that one. And so this one I can see that it's number 7, but I'm not worried about reading them out of order because I think they're all pretty different. So there we go. All right, so let's see what I got. Okay, so let me open this one first. This one is by the librarian, recommended by Christy. And it's a genre is fiction, and the little tag they have here has the first line, and it says, "They have all asked me to write down the whole particulars about how I came to be here." So that kind of intrigued me, that line. So let's see what we get. And I told her when I was checking out, I go, it's like Christmas. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is the one I have not heard of. This one says, it's called Lark Ascending. It's very intriguing. Let's see what this is about. I've never heard of this one. So this says, a timely, powerful story of survival set in the not too distant future, reminding us to always hold on to hope, even in the worst of times. It says, with fires devastating much of America. Oh my goodness, that's kind of like happening right now, isn't it? In Los Angeles with fires. I wonder when this book was written. I'm gonna skip. This book came out in 2022. Okay, with fires devastating much of America, Lark and his family first leave their home in Maryland for Maine, but as the country increasingly falls under the grip of religious nationalism, it becomes clear that nowhere is safe, not just from physical disasters, but also persecution. The family secures a place on a crowded boat headed to Ireland, the last place on earth rumored to be accepting American refugees. Oh my goodness. This is like a future book, huh? Is it not what says not too distant future? Upon arrival, it turns out that the safe harbor of Ireland no longer exists either, and Lark, the sole survivor of the transatlantic voyage, must disappear into the countryside. As he runs for his life, Lark finds 2 equally lost and desperate souls, one of the last remaining dogs, who becomes his closest companion, and a fierce, mysterious woman in search of her lost son. Together they form a makeshift family and attempt to reach Glendalough, a place they believe will offer protection, but can any community provide the safety that they seek? Interesting. Let me know in the let me know in the comments below of this video if you've read this. So, like I said, this is a vlog, and I'm going to be reading the books, and I'll let you know if I read them, if they're interesting, if I end up DNFing them, or if they're not because this is not what I've heard of or has been on my radar. It's a dystopian, I guess, book. So, okay, so that was pick number 1. Very interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up later, see what people say about it. Okay, so this is the one that when I checked out my librarian, she's like, you picked my book. This is Lauren's pick, and it's fiction. And the first line is, I sit with my back to the wall, my pillows flat. And I just thought that was kind of a comfy, maybe feeling, but who knows, right? Okay, so let's see what this one is. Kind of similar colors as the other one. All right. Oh, this does sound kind of familiar. This one says The Berry Pickers by Amanda Peters. Interesting. It's similar colors for the cover. Okay. Let's see what this one says. It says a 4-year-old Mika something, I can't pronounce it, girl goes missing from the blueberry fields of Maine. Is the other one in Maine too? Sparking a tragic mystery. Oh, it's a mystery. Sparking a tragic mystery that haunts the survivors, unravels the family, and remains unsolved for nearly 50 years. It says July 1962. Following in the tradition of Indigenous workers from Nova Scotia, a Mi'kmaq family arrives in Maine to pick blueberries for the summer. Weeks later, 4-year-old Ruthie, the family's youngest child, vanishes. She is last seen by her 6-year-old brother Joe sitting on her favorite rock on the edge of a berry field. Joe will remain distraught by his sister's disappearance for years to come. Okay, I'm not going to read anymore. I want to kind of go more blind. But it sounds like a mystery about a missing child. And like I said, this one does sound familiar. Like I have heard people on BookTube talk about this one. So, okay, so these are my books. And these are kind of not in my usual books that I would pick. So it's going to be interesting to read these this month and see how I feel, if they turn out to be authors that I enjoy. Again, this is Lark Ascending by Silas House, and The Berry Pickers by Amanda Peters. All right, so we'll see. I'll come back later and let you know which one I'm reading and how I feel. All right, we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, here's a little update on the 2 books that I picked, or that I opened from the Blind Date with a Book. So I looked this one up to see what kind of themes and things that were involved in the book, and I saw that it did have some themes that are not something that I'm comfortable reading or like reading, so I am not going to even read this one. So this one's a no. I will take this back to the library, and that's fine. I figured that out of the 2 I would only read one, so this is the one that I'm not going to read. I did start reading this one, and this one is very intriguing. So I've read, let's see, I think I've read maybe 2 or 3 chapters so far, and it's very interesting. Well, it's kind of sad at the same time. It's called, this book is about, or at least it's starting off telling a story of a young little girl. I think she's like 4 or 5 years old, that is gone missing. Her family can't find her, and they are searching for her, and several days pass and they still cannot find her. But the way the book is written, it's written in almost knocked over my coffee. It is, each chapter is a different point of view, and we have this person named Joe. So far, like I said, I've only read 3 chapters, and so it's going back between Joe and a character named Norma. And Joe in the book is the little girl, her name is Ruthie, her older brother, and he's not older by too many, they're pretty close in age, and he's, in the beginning of the book, he's older, much older, and he's thinking about that, what happened to his little sister years ago and how she went missing, and he describes the story of how their family are come into this area to pick berries, like farm laborers, and they come in and they are working there, and she's young, like the youngest of the family, and while they're out picking the berries, she wanders off, and then they can't find her, and then we go to the next chapter, and it's a person by the name of Norma telling her story. And it sounds like, as I'm reading, I'm like, this Norma is the little girl, because she's talking about how she's having bad dreams, and in the dreams she's seen things that don't make sense to her, and her parents are trying to explain to her they're just dreams, but she keeps having the same dreams over and over again. And there's something really fishy about her parents. And then at one point, she talks about an experience she had when she was, I think, 9, and they were at the beach. And that she said that was the first time I noticed something about myself and my parents. And she said it was her skin color, because she looked at her skin, and she's like, and she walks over to her parents that are on the beach, and she says, how come I'm not white like you? You know, my skin's darker. And they say, oh, you know, your great uncle was Italian, so you have that. That's from him. And she's like, oh, and then never gives it another thought. And then she talks about how in her home there's no pictures or photographs of her prior to 5 years old, and there's no photographs of this supposed uncle where she got her coloring, and they had told her that all her pictures or baby pictures of before 5 were burned up in a fire, or a house fire or something. So conveniently they're gone. So I don't know how this couple got a hold of this little girl to raise her as their own. I'm sure that's part of the mystery that I'm going. So it's very intriguing. I like the writing so far. So, and it's going to be a short read, I think. I'm hoping to finish this within the next couple days, and then I'll come back and I'll let you know more about this. And I need to research her people, their background of her real family. So okay, so I just wanted to give you an update on this one. We'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I had to come in and film this video while it was fresh in my mind. I just finished reading this amazing book, and my eyes are still a little watery. I was in tears at the end. I could not believe this book is so sad. It's so emotional. It's just an emotional ride. And if you have read the book, not that it's similar, I mean, it has kind of like a similar theme, but not totally. It just reminded me of reading the book by Lisa. Okay, so I'm back, and I have finished the book, and I was in tears at the end. For a lot of this book, actually, I was in tears, but the end was just so emotional. And I was thinking that this book reminded me of when I read the book by Lisa Wingate, Before We Were Yours. And I'll put that up here. I read this a couple years ago, and that one had similar themes. And at first I thought this book was going to be connected in some way to that, with the similar themes, but not totally. But the emotional ride that book gave me, this one gave me too. So I can't tell you how much this was like. I read it in a couple days. I was just, you know, it's a page turner, but not in a thriller kind of way, but more like I need to know what happened to this young woman. I need to know how it all transpired, And am I going to get some kind of resolution? And I don't want to say anything, I don't want to spoil anything, but it was just a really really intense book, for things that you may not like in this book. So the way that it was written, it took me a while to get it to where I knew what was happening. You have two point of views. You have the point of view, I think I mentioned in the last little segment, the point of view of Joe and his perspective through the years and telling his story. And so we get a lot of time jumping, and you're just going to have to kind of get used to what time frame they're talking about at the time. But it gets, as you read it, you can you know what's happening and everything. So you get Joe's point of view, and then you have Norma's point of view, and she's in a different time. You know, they're time jumping their story as well because she's telling her story. So you get a lot of that. So sometimes you don't know, wait a minute, where am I at in the timeline? But it does work out. It makes sense. And so you have those things. There is a little bit of language in the book, not a whole lot. It's just like when things happen, you'll have like a curse word here and there. But other than that, it's a clean read as far as that kind of thing. But it's a really a family drama, emotional drama of something that happens that affects, I mean, one person's choice, you know, that affects lives across many generations. And it's just amazing. And so even though it's a library book, I did tab it up a little bit. So what I enjoyed most about the book, I guess, is the story, the two stories like interwoven because of who they are, but it's it's really a tragic story. It really is a tragic story of a family in 1962, and they were they're of the Mi'kmaq tribe, and they are in Canada, Nova Scotia, and then they travel down south to the United States in Maine to pick berries, and they're for the season, and they do that, you know, that's just what they do. The whole family does that. And during this one season in 1962, it's the summer season when they're picking the berries, that the youngest daughter, she's only 4, turns up missing. And that happens you learn that story at the very beginning of the book. But you learn the story being told from Joe, who is her older brother, and he's now late in life. He's like 50-something years old. And so he's telling the backstory of everything that happened. And then you are introduced to Norma, and as you're reading it, you realize, wait a minute, is Norma the sister that was taken? And her name was Ruthie. And as you're reading, it's not a spoiler because it happens right away that you come to realize that, wait a minute, this is Ruthie. But you don't know how it happened. You don't know how she got to where she's at, how she's living with her family. How did it happen? And you don't know, and of course that's like the reveal at the end. And it didn't turn. At first, I was thinking something happened in such a way, and it didn't turn out to be what I thought how it happened. And yeah, it was so. And I'm thinking the whole time, is she gonna be reunited? Is she gonna know about her real family? And even though the story is about her and her being taken, Joe is a really big part of the story too. Like I said, it's his perspective and his life and what happens to him, and we get a lot of his story. And his story is so tragic. It's such a tragic story of like things that happened to him as a child that he internalized, and he believed, and he acted out on it, and he made choices based on those beliefs, and they sent him down a really destructive path, and a path that kept him away from family, and his story was really heartbreaking. And yeah, the whole, everybody. It was a heartbreaking story because of just the situation in itself. And so, yeah, it was just really a powerful story. And I've never read her before, Amanda Peters. So I'm interested. I'm going to look her up after this and see if she's written anything else. This book is a newer release, I believe. Let's see. I can't remember if I looked at it before. Yeah, 2023 is when it came out. So I'll have to check and see if she has any other books out there. Because I really enjoyed her writing. Again, it's a hard-hitting book. I mean, it's very emotional, family drama, and just the time period too of the family that was the Micmac Indian culture, what they dealt with and how they lived, but yeah, the main part of the story is that missing daughter Ruthie and what happened to her, and it's so good, so good. I love a good book that makes me, trying to figure out what happened, the mystery, and then any book that really, brings me to tears is just, oh my goodness, just brought me to tears. And such a lot of good, yeah, just really good. So I'm so glad that I picked this book, from the Blind Date with a Book, and it was a good date. It was definitely a good date. I highly recommend this book if you love this kind of book, historical kind of no, I don't think it's historical fiction, and it's historical in a way because it talks about the time period, but it's more family drama and emotional book, really, to read. Fictional. So yeah, thank you for watching with me this vlog, and if you've ever tried a blind date with a book at your library, you might want to go check it out. I recommend it. You never know, you might find a really good book, because I don't think I would have ever picked this up. I don't know if I'd heard about it before. So this is to you if you have not heard about this book or this author. There you go. All right, thank you so much for hanging out with me.